This is going to be my review on the Lethal Gaming Gear Neptune. This is Lethal's first pad of 2024 and their first speed pad. I think Lethal hit this out of the park in terms of this speed that you get. It's very akin to the OG Raiden in terms of speed, and it has a little bit more stopping power, which is crazy because I don't really think the Raiden had that much stopping power. I think it all comes from this very slight texture that you get. It's very unique because it feels kind of smooth to the touch on the hand, but you can notice a super duper, very fine, like gravelly sensation. And depending on how big your skates are and what skates you're using, you can notice the feedback a lot more. I think this helps with stopping power. It definitely has more stopping power than my Raiden V2 while having more speed, although it's very slight, but it is something I have to mention. They also have this new rubber, uh, Japanese rubber base that I think completely, gets rid of the need for a mid pour on version of their pro pads because I think this is a very consistent base that I don't really see a reason to buy a more expensive pad if it's just going to be pour on, and that's really going to be the only difference. I think all of their standard series of pads that are going to implement this new base, I think they're going to be a good alternative to mid from Artisan and any type of thinner pads. I have not had any issues with temperature or humidity affecting this pad in any major way. It seems that Lethal was having some issues with that, and that's why they went through a few different surfaces and just weaves and stuff. And it took about 2 years for it to finally release to the market. Of course, I think Lethal definitely chose the right method of testing and testing and testing to make sure that they get a surface that is very consistent, and that's exactly what this is. The Neptune comes in four sizes for the standard edition. It comes in XL, which is 490 by 420. This is the version I have that retails for 35 USD. They have a XL square, which is 500 by 500. I think 500 in height is a little bit too tall for me. That retails at about $40. And then they have a 2XL, which is 1,000 by 500. That's going to be your typical desk mat size. That's 55. And then they have a 3X, which is 1,200 by 550, which is even taller. That's going to like cover your entire desk. And that is 65. The thing that will affect this pad the most in terms of its glide, stopping power, and texture feedback will be the type of skates you use, mainly the size of the skates and the hardness of the skate. If you're using something like hardened PTFE, something like an Obsidian, maybe full pad skates, you're going to get a lot more of a texture feedback, but it will still be controlled. If you're using dots, you're still going to get a lot of that texture feedback, but it's not going to it's going to be a lot faster, of course. If you're using something like jades, which are traditional PTFE, these are going to be fast and not a lot of texture feedback since there's low surface area. This is probably my best performing cloth pad in terms of overall aiming and general consistency. I will say this is probably my number one recommendation for a speed pad so far. I don't really see a reason to get a Raiden anymore, considering that if you were thinking about a Raiden mid, this is, in terms of speed, going to be faster than the V2 and has a little bit more stopping power. Of course, Artisan does not also have a soft variant of the Raiden, and Lethal has a soft and X-Soft pour-on variant of this pad, the Neptune Pro, that's going to be released soon as well. So there isn't really an alternative to that Neptune Pro Soft. I want to thank Lethal Gaming Gear for sending out this pad. This pad was 100% worth the wait. I just think Lethal keeps on, you know, dishing out these enthusiast level products, and they don't disappoint, to say the least.